happiness and suffering abound in our human lives, shifting with time. Even though everyone wants to be happy, suffering is hard to avoid. Sometimes the suffering is only temporary, but sometimes it is suffering that carries with us through our lives, such as losing a limb, being away from a loved one, or being ill with a terrible disease. Living with pain and not allowing it to control one's thoughts is a vital life skill. In this episode, these 2 case studies will show you how to apply suffering with knowledge and mindfulness. The first example is a young lady who has had muscular dystrophy since she was a little child. Her illness made it difficult for her to move. As time went on, the illness got worse, to the point where she finally needed to be on a ventilator and was unable to move her body regularly. Even when experiencing physical pain, she discovered that writing novels gave her life a new purpose. She laboriously created her art for many years, but in the end, she was successful because of her perseverance and resolve. He has won accolades and published many works. So a young woman who was previously a brilliant student at a university is the subject of the second instance. However, she met with disaster when someone splashed acid in her face. To face her, she was quite distressed and in agony after this happened. However, rather than continuing to endure pain and focusing on the negative events that happened, she decided to find lessons and values. She claimed that this encounter helped her see life's realities, have the ability to let go of attachment to appearance, and recognize the transience of all things. The case description teaches you the following key concepts about case investigation. The case description teaches you the following key concepts about case investigation. 1. Accepting the truth. These cases highlight how crucial it is to accept the circumstances as they are. Even though it's challenging, acceptance enables us to proceed. 2. Seeking purpose and significance. Despite facing struggles, both of them decided to discover new meaning in life. First, by penning books someone else experienced, realizing life's realizing realities. 3. Finding benefits in suffering. These examples demonstrate that there might be hidden advantages even in hardship. As we can see, suffering can impart essential knowledge and enhance spiritual development. 4. Letting go. The secret to overcoming pain is learning to let go of the things we cannot control. Both let go of attachments to outside objects and expectations. 5. Mental training. These situations highlight the value of mental training, which can consciously deal with pain. Based on these 5 ideas, next we'll go through each subject in greater detail to demonstrate how to deal with suffering and teach the mind to be able to deal with suffering intelligently and consciously. 1. Truth accepting, moving forward-oriented principles. One of the most crucial psychological processes in managing suffering is acknowledging and accepting reality, whether or if the suffering is severe or minor. Accepting that the suffering or circumstance we find ourselves in is a necessary part of this concept. We need to develop awareness and comprehension of this aspect of life to live with it. Regarding the 2 young women in the given case study, to help people get over their pain and discover a new purpose in life, they must learn to accept the truth. Recognizing the reality. In the case of a young myasthenia gravis patient, nobody wants to have to deal with being unable to move freely and being dependent on a ventilator, as in the case of a young woman who has had muscle weakness since childhood. It was tough to deal with a sickness that was slowly destroying her physical capacities. It can also quickly fill her with hopelessness. She did, however, come to terms with the fact that her body was changing. She doesn't try to ignore or reject her illness, but she decided to grow and adjust to her constraints. In this case, accepting the reality is difficult, because facing unpleasant realities requires courage. However, she was able to open her heart and begin searching for other avenues to complete her life once she came to terms with the truth that her body would never be able to go back to normal. She found that she could give her life purpose and satisfaction by penning stories. She struggled for many years before creating, but her perseverance and acceptance of her identity helped her get past her hardships and become a successful novelist. This instance shows that we don't have to give up on our pain to accept the truth, but it presents us with a chance to think outside the box, to carry on with life. The first step toward change is acceptance. Even in the face of restrictions, we will have the strength to discover new routes in our lives if we don't fight against reality. Recognizing the truth in the acid attack case of the young lady. In another instance, a former star of the university, this young woman was attacked with acid. She no longer looked the same, and she suffered much from the anguish of her physical wounds. She has to cope with more than just bodily discomfort. She must still deal with the psychological pain of her deformities, though, and the demise of her previous persona. That is yet what enables her to proceed. It's that she decided to acknowledge the reality of what happened. She is not trying to hide or ignore the reality that she will never be able to go back to how she was. Rather, she searched for lessons and significance in the events. In this case, it is crucial to accept the truth, because it was the beginning of her learning to value herself from the inside out and letting go of her connection to appearance. She was forced to face life's realities by this traumatic event, that everything is ambiguous and subject to change in life. When she can accept this fact, she can conquer suffering and cultivate contentment by valuing things that are hidden from perspective. The significance of embracing reality in everyday life. Confronting suffering doesn't merely need adhering to the principle of truth acceptance, but it is also a vital skill in daily life. When we experience setbacks or disappointments in life that do not go according to our expectations, acknowledging reality will enable us to adjust and resolve issues with awareness and wisdom. Frequently, real occurrences are not the cause of mental anguish. However, the source of it is our denial or resistance to reality. Pain and disappointment await us when we cling to delusions or irrational aspirations. Consequently, embracing reality will enable us to overcome suffering and be ready to handle life's unknowns. A crucial step in decreasing suffering is realizing the reality. Whether the suffering is mental or physical, being accepting of the circumstance does not require us to give up on it. However, it offers us a chance to grow as people and learn new approaches to life. Accepting the truth helps us consciously face hardship and create inner strength. Ultimately, acceptance brings us to ultimate serenity and contentment in life. 2. Turning misery into a driving force for development, a guide to discovering significance and worth. When hardships arise in life, it is not enough to merely strive to escape pain or get over it. It involves searching for any significance and worth concealed beneath such hardships. Discovering purpose in suffering can be a very effective strategy for overcoming challenges and developing fresh perspectives on life. This case study of two young women battling physical and emotional hardship reveals the ability to discover new purpose and worth in life. Finding purpose in suffering, hardship inspires creativity. The first case included a young lady who had muscle weakness from an early age. It was revealed that she suffered from a serious ailment that restricted her movement. It goes beyond physical restrictions. It also has an impact on your mental state and your capacity to carry out day-to-day tasks. For many, this anguish can be the source of hopelessness. However, this young lady decided to keep her thoughts clear of misery. Rather than focusing on the loss, she started to discover new meaning in life. She sees book writing as a means of expressing ideas and feelings. Despite the physical limitations that make writing challenging, she persevered. She found that writing fiction allowed her to express her creativity and bring her fantasies to life. The approach not only allowed her to have a purpose in life, it also gives her a sense of worth. Although she has little control over her physical state, she does have power over her inner self and can use it to build something worthwhile. This showcases the ability to give pain a new purpose. Writing novels doesn't merely help her relieve her sorrow. However, it also gives her a new avenue for self-expression and accomplishment. Her creations took many years to complete, but they go beyond published works. It's about learning to accept suffering and turn it into something worthwhile. Seeking purpose in life's realities, adversity serves as a guide. The story of a young lady who was once a university star is the subject of the second case, who was forced to endure an acid attack that deformed her in an instant. The attractiveness that had previously been her greatest feature vanished. Such mental and physical suffering can leave you feeling hopeless and even like taking your own life. She refused to let this suffering still be the last of her, but decide to interpret what happened as meaningful. This young lady saw her experiences as a chance to discover the reality of life. She realized everything was temporary as a result of the agony and ugliness. This is a crucial Buddhist precept. Her life, which had once been perfect and lovely, was lost forever. Likewise, holding on to external beauty will only cause misery to increase. She found inner peace by discovering her inner value and learning to let go of appearances. Acquiring knowledge of this life reality enables her to see that all in life is fleeting. For nothing endures forever. Either bliss or misery. Clinging to modifiable things will result in misery. If only we could accept this transience and let go, we'll be able to go past sorrow and discover true happiness on the inside. Seeking purpose in life, understanding suffering. Both of them show how one's perspective on pain can be altered. Seeking significance in events does not require us to constantly come up with a precise explanation. It entails developing a fresh perspective that enables us to endure sorrow without allowing it to rule our existence. Unavoidable suffering can be a tool for personal growth, if we allow ourselves to recognize the worth concealed therein. Within Buddhism, once upon a time, the Buddha described suffering as a great teacher. Suffering compels us to reflect on and reconsider our lives. What we hold on to, our desires and our fears. Suffering is more than just something that hurts us, as we shall discover when we can find purpose in it. But educators are the ones who help us develop. It also requires us to shift our viewpoint to find purpose in pain. This also applies to the diseased and disfigured damsels. Shifting your focus from moping over your pain to seeking opportunities to give your life new purpose. It is what enables them to go past challenges and carry on leading meaningful lives. Searching for purpose in our own life. For everyone else, it can be challenging at first to find significance in pain. However, if we begin to shift our viewpoint, we discover that there are still lessons to be learned and opportunities for personal development, even during the toughest times of life. We can discover that enduring hardships enhances us, makes us appreciate things that we had previously disregarded, might help us better grasp life's realities. Finding meaning in pain is a process that helps us transform our lives for the better. Life does not end when one suffers, but we shall grow as a result of this trip. Suffering can be a very useful instrument that can help us find true happiness if we can learn to appreciate and find purpose in it. 3. Recognizing the positive aspects of suffering, going from suffering to spiritual development. It is inevitable for humans to experience suffering. We all face it in different ways. So whether it is physical or mental pain, such as the loss of a loved one, illness, or overcoming challenging difficulties. Suffering, though, is more than just something we go through and hope passes fast. Suffering, on the other hand, has unintended advantages. If we recognize it, it can provide valuable knowledge and promote spiritual development. The hidden lessons of suffering's benefits. In a case study of two young ladies experiencing extreme hardship, suffering is more than just physical discomfort. However, he is also a teacher who imparts valuable knowledge to them. Myasthenia gravis causes physical restrictions and a progressive loss of movement in young women. But despite this suffering, she turned to creating novels to find fulfillment and purpose in life. She has learned the value of perseverance and inventiveness from her experience. Her physical constraints were not going to stop her from pursuing her aspirations. Rather, they perceived a chance to produce something worthwhile. A further young lady who suffered from acid-related disfigurement likewise derived comfort from her experiences. Her loss of outward beauty opened her eyes to reality. We own what we cling to. Nothing endures forever. Her pain served as a lesson that helped her let go and realize that inner beauty is more valuable than external beauty. Not only did this event aid in her mental development, however, it also promotes awareness of change and life's transience. Gaining strength by overcoming suffering. In terms of strengthening our bodies and minds, suffering is also advantageous. When faced with hardship, we frequently need to learn how to be patient and adaptable to get the challenges that come up. What builds up the mind is learning to endure sorrow without escaping or avoiding it. Thus, suffering is a process that helps us improve our capacity to handle hardship in the future. Both young women in the case study grew from their sorrow. A young lady diagnosed with myasthenia gravis discovers the importance of tenacity and never giving up. Despite her physical restrictions, the process of writing novels helped her to strengthen her mind. It was the instrument that enabled her to succeed and find meaning in her life. In the interim, a young woman after an acid beating realizes that pain is a method for her to grow intellectually. She gained the skill to let go and used that sorrow as a tool for self-discovery. She realized the value of having self-worth independent of attractiveness after losing her beauty. However, it's a value that comes from the heart. That hardship helped her adjust her outlook on life and allowed her to grow spiritually. Suffering serves as a tool for spiritual growth. Buddhism views suffering as a necessary component of life's lessons. Suffering is one of the Four Noble Truths, according to what the Buddha taught. This idea is crucial to comprehending the essence of life. Facing pain is the first step toward spiritual growth, because it makes us aware of what is real in life. Nothing is permanent. Everything is born, grows, and then dies. Suffering enables us to let go of our attachment to transient things and to comprehend the essence of impermanence. Through first-hand experience, the two young ladies in our case studies gained insight into the essence of suffering. Their pain serves as a wake-up call to the unpredictability of life, and when they can endure suffering and recognize its advantages, they can experience more mental clarity and spiritual growth. Shifting your viewpoint on suffering. Changing one's viewpoint on pain is the first step towards seeing its benefits. If we refuse to confront suffering and see it as merely something that hurts, the lessons and advantages it offers won't be apparent to us. We can learn and grow from suffering if we adopt a different viewpoint and see it as a teacher who is imparting valuable lessons to us. A young lady who suffers from myasthenia gravis decides not to see her condition as a barrier. However, it is what motivates her to produce something worthwhile. Similar to the girl who suffered an acid assault, she decided to not let the loss depress her. Rather, she observed lessons that helped her come to terms with life's uncertainties. True happiness can be created through suffering. When we recognize that pain has advantages, we'll discover that suffering shouldn't be resisted or avoided. However, it presents a chance for us to develop and learn. Pain may serve as a springboard for genuine enjoyment. If we can see the lessons it presents and apply them as tools for mental progress. For everyone else, it can be challenging at first to see the benefits of suffering. However, when we strive to learn from it and keep an open mind, we shall learn that suffering is a tremendous tool for transforming lives and leading us to a greater understanding of the nature of life. 4. Letting go, the secret for dealing with pain. One of the most crucial ideas in overcoming suffering in life is letting go. Suffering is frequently the result of holding on to or expecting things that are out of our control, whether it be the desire for love, career success, or the perfection of appearance in life. When our expectations are not met, suffering results from our over-clinging to these things. Therefore, learning to let go is a crucial ability that enables us to consciously deal with life's changes and uncertainties. The meaning of letting go. Abandoning everything or ignoring life's circumstances is not what it means to let go. It is about learning to accept the fact that some things in life are beyond our control. Furthermore, holding on to it can make things worse. To let go is to acknowledge and accept life's unpredictability. Whether it's a shift in the course of events or your feelings. To live a more contented and tranquil life, letting go also means lowering our hopes and attachments. So, using the example of a young lady with myasthenia gravis, she has learned to let go of her need for physical perfection and acknowledge your limitations rather than focusing on your pain. She doesn't hold on to memories of her former life or wish for things to go back to normal. She decided to concentrate on producing what she is now capable of instead. Writing a novel is that. She was able to have a fresh outlook on life and discover happiness that wasn't dependent on physical beauty. In the interim, the acid-attacked woman decided to let go of standards for her appearance. Rather than moping about the loss of physical attractiveness, her attention shifted to brain development and acknowledged the transience of life. The look she had previously clung to was replaced with realizing the significance and worth of inner existence. Releasing expectations, lessening life's misery. Clinging on to expectations is one of the main things that makes people miserable. Expecting things in life to go according to expectation can result in instant anguish, whether those things be relationships, career achievement, or even taking care of one's health. When our expectations aren't met, giving up on expectations does not imply giving up on life's ambitions. It entails coming to terms with the fact that the only thing we have control over, notwithstanding the purpose, is our actions. Sometimes the outcomes aren't what we expected. So, learning to see the world realistically and letting go of our attachment to the image or outcomes we expect is the first step toward letting go of expectations. By taking this action, we can deal with change stably and avoid becoming upset when things don't go as planned. Releasing ties to external objects. These attachments can drive us to unintentionally produce sorrow, because losing these items could make us feel dejected or defeated. The process of letting go of external attachments teaches us to value life within rather than depending on other sources. In the case of a young lady who suffered an acid assault and lost her beauty, she managed to let go of her need to look a certain way and shift their attention to discovering their actual worth. She refused to allow her bodily demise to affect her value as a person. Rather, we observe that contentment and mental tranquility can originate within, independent of external factors. The secret to escaping pain is letting go. It takes more than just accepting life, as it is to let go. However, it's also a crucial tool that enables us to flee pain. When we cling to uncontrollable things, we shall discover that misery recurs repeatedly, but we will be able to handle change with calm when we learn to let go and realize that there are things in life that are out of our control and uncertain, and avoiding drowning in pain. Letting go was a strategy employed by the two young ladies in the case studies to get over their sorrow. They both acknowledged the constraints and losses that come with living and learned to let go of impractical demands. They are not just set free from emotional anguish by this release, but it also offers people the chance to discover genuine contentment and tranquility in their lives. Buddhism's lessons about letting go. Letting go is a fundamental Buddhist philosophy. According to the Buddha, attachment is the root of all suffering, because the way to be freed from pain is to let go of attachment. Buddhism views letting go as including more than just releasing attachments to material possessions. However, it also involves letting go of ambitions and attachments. We can live in peace and avoid becoming victims of pain if we can learn to let go of these things. The secret to effectively managing suffering is letting go. Releasing oneself from other things and aspirations not only lessens misery in life, but it also provides us with the chance to discover true contentment and tranquility. It takes time and practice to become an expert at letting go, but once we do, we'll discover that life is easier and more tranquil. 5. Mental training, the way to end suffering. A crucial step in getting ready to handle pain that could strike at any time is mental training. Misfortune or suffering are unavoidable in human existence, be it separation, loss, or other changes, so that the anguish does not overcome us until we are unable to endure it any longer. We can prepare ourselves and develop strong mental faculties. Avoiding suffering is not the goal of mental cultivation. However, the key is to learn how to deal with it deliberately. Moreover, making the most of that suffering is crucial. Develop mental toughness by learning how to handle pain. We have to constantly remind ourselves that we can experience suffering at any time. Sometimes anger manifests in little ways, such as a workplace fight, losing something, or property loss. But occasionally, like when a loved one passes away, it comes hard. Significant disease or adjustments that alter our lives. Pain is like a storm. We never know when it will strike. However, by mentally preparing ourselves before, we can be ready to handle it. It will benefit us to train our thoughts to be ready to handle mild hardship so that we will be better equipped to handle extreme suffering. We do this technique by paying attention to what is going on in our environment. Recognize the possibilities in life. Let go of things that are beyond our control. Furthermore, making the most of pain is crucial. Don't allow it to consume our thoughts to the extent that we lose sight of any positive aspects that could be concealed in that pain. Taking advantage of pain for intellectual and mental development. Taking use of suffering is incredibly crucial because one of the best teachers for growing our thoughts and abilities can be suffering. We may prevent suffering from destroying us by teaching our minds how to cope with it. Rather, they saw it as a teaching moment. Mindfully facing suffering enables us to recognize that nothing in life is genuinely ours. Everything in this world is changeable and transient. We may let go and stop clinging to what we formerly believed to be ours if we comprehend and accept this. For instance, when we lose a loved one or some item, if we can teach our brains to recognize that such items aren't really ours, moreover, we only have it for a short period, we won't suffer too much as a result of that loss. Not that we're not depressed at all. However, we refuse to allow that pain to break our hearts. Within Buddhism, recognizing the value in pain is a crucial mental practice, since it enables us to perceive life as it truly is. Overcoming our attachment to our identities and possessions enables us to view suffering as a chance for mental development and learning. When our consciousness is developed enough to perceive anatta and impermanence, we'll find it easier to let go of those attachments. Develop mental skills to be ready to release. The long and constant training of the mind leads to the ability to let go. Letting go does not entail escaping hardship or issues. It entails letting go of attachments and genuinely embracing life as it is. As long as we are unable to let go of our attachment to our bodies, things, or relationships, we will always experience excruciating pain. But if we train our minds to be able to manage the suffering that emerges and recognize the worth or profit from it, we will eventually realize the deeper reality. Suffering may serve as a springboard for us to understand life's realities. We can become free from our attachment to the self by teaching our minds to accept and even benefit from suffering. We shall be free from pain and able to live in harmony when we can let go completely, even in the face of disagreeable experiences or circumstances in life. The process of conditioning your mind to be resilient and prepared to handle pain never ends. It goes beyond simply becoming ready to handle the impending hardship. However, it is also a practice to find meaning and rewards in the pain we endure. By gradually letting go of attachments and accepting life as it is, this practice aids in our understanding. True happiness and an end to suffering will result from this. According to Buddhist teachings, a true scholar can derive advantages from both the pleasurable and the unpleasant, developing the ability to handle hardship and draw strength from it. It is therefore a crucial life skill. Suffering is an inevitable part of being human. However, we have the option to handle it sensibly. Learning to appreciate and gain from hardship and to be able to accept it will enable us to lead happier lives. Even in the face of suffering, ultimately it can serve as a springboard for understanding life's true meaning and maturing the soul to the point where it is genuinely free from suffering. Subscribe to the Awakened Way channel for inspiring lessons on mindfulness, personal growth, and the wisdom to navigate life's toughest challenges. Don't miss out on new episodes that will help you cultivate inner strength, find meaning in adversity, and awaken a deeper understanding of life. Click subscribe and join our community today.